Go on podcasts. Go on Substack Lives. Go on shows like ours. To them, even though this is corporate media technically because we're owned by a big company, they view this as some lesser thing, like independent media, and they still want to go all on MS Now and CNN. You got to do both. Go on this. Go on Midas Touch. Go on every place where there's an audience that you think is important for your coalition you're building. So that was interesting. There was another point that I thought...
In 1.5 miles, turn left to I-390 South.
The whole report, the best part, they talk about Republicans as being, quote, always on. Always on. And what they mean is Republicans never stop campaigning. No one typifies that more and manifests that more than Donald Trump. They never stop campaigning. Everything they do is campaigning. They don't care about legislating. They care about messaging. We care about legislating. We sit around and think about policies that are going to help people. They think about sound bites like Fox News. They think about tweets and ways to troll us. They were always campaigning. The line in the report is the right is always on. And notes, Democrats must learn to match that strategy. This is probably the best point in the entire report. It will be too late to make the case, much less close the deal, if we allow Republicans to campaign nonstop and we don't match them every single day.
This is where Safeway is, right along the side of that building.
Across the
That's where they
ever-changing
did your car
attention
yesterday.
ecosystem. In other words, be more creative.
In half a mile, use the left lane to turn left.
To get press. The old days of having a press conference in the Capitol don't work anymore. Be creative. It's an ever-changing attention ecosystem. That's the words they use. Just means the media's changing. You got to adapt with it. And you have to be in it every day. And Democrats should space it out. Today, 20 of you are going to talk about this issue. 50 of you are going to go on this thing. I'm ad-libbing. This is not in the report, but that's the suggestion. And I agree with that. And they actually say something here. Throw a lot of things at the wall, find out what works best at the local level, share the best practices until it works at the scale of a national party. That's right from the report. So candidates running for Congress are going to run a different message than national or a presidential candidate, but you can learn something in this midterm. What works? What alternative media did you use to reach people? And it brought people out. Then you scale it up for the national race. And
Turn left to I-390 South.
a few other things here. A lot has to do with messaging. We're not good at it. And here's something else in the report that I thought was actually, it was helpful. Let me put it that way. Countering Republicans' misinformation. Now, again, this was a draft of it, so there's not a lot of links or recommendations, but they note something, and it's about countering false information. And their point is, Republicans are always on, and they're always spewing misinformation and lies, disinformation. And they say here, countering false information comes down to both making an affirmative case and pushing back on the motivations behind the smears, rather than responding to the lack of substantive truth. And that's really interesting. That goes to the emotional truth. Like, they're not literally saying, for example,
Continue on I-390 South for 1.5 miles.
Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Well, we're fact-checking the literal thing. They're not eating dogs and cats.
In 3/4 miles, exit right to exit 16A, New York 15, West Henrietta Road, East River Road. Then use the left 2 lanes to stay to the left to exit 16A, New York 15, West Henrietta Road, East River Road. In half a mile, use the right lane to exit right. Then use the left 2 lanes to stay to the left to exit 16A, New York 15, West Henrietta Road, East River Road. Exit right. Then use the left 2 lanes to stay to the left to exit 16A, New York 15, West Henrietta Road, East River Road.
And what's being said is something the person wants to believe. That's the point.
Use the left 2 lanes to stay to the left to exit 16A, New York 15, West Henrietta Road, East River Road. Then use either lane to turn left on East River Road. In half a mile, use the right lane to take exit 16B, New York 15A, East Henrietta Road.
The truth. Yeah, I've told them the truth. You've listened to them. That doesn't change anything. They don't go like, oh my God, you're right. You're a genius, Dave. No, they move the goalposts. They bring Something else. We heard it
Exit right to exit 16B, New York 15A, East Henrietta Road.
was upset that Trump had purged Massey and used the term il duce, but then he became really defensive.
At the next light, use the left 2 lanes to turn left.
And weird. But the point is, fact-checking alone won't spread misinformation.
In a quarter of a mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn left on East Henrietta Road.
And I'll give you an example. How many people thought the White House Correspondents' Dinner
Turn left on East Henrietta Road.
quotes was staged? Well, we all said it was staged, right? Did I literally believe it was staged? No, I don't think they hired the guy to do this. Do I believe it was staged and that Trump used it and staged the press conference afterwards and the black tie and began to weaponize it and try to score political points? Yeah, that was staged. So I have no problem using the term staged, even though I knew intellectually it's not perfect, but it's because it was making a point. And we all agreed on it. Let me give you an example on the other side. 2020 election. How many times did you ever talk to Trumpers and they'd say the 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they'll give you examples and you'll fact check it, and they don't care. Because they're not literally saying it was stolen. They might, some of them might believe it, but it makes them feel good to say it was stolen because it means their beloved Trump didn't lose. The only way he could have lost was if the election was stolen, because it's part of their own self-worth as a person. If their beloved Grand Wizard lost the election. So fact-checking won't move them. But pushing back on the motivation behind the smears, they say here's the key, rather than the lack of substantive truth. And I think it's interesting. I think you got to do it in this kind of thing. You might do it through focus groups and test it out. And here's a Republican lie. Forget fact-checking. Go after the motivation behind the
In half a mile, turn right on South Avenue. Then use the right lane to turn right on Science Parkway.
And how do you counter that? And maybe with the Haitians, I'm just spitballing here, but the Haitians eating cats and dogs, the response is they're not eating cats and dogs, so everyone fact check that. This is the most un-American attack ever. As Americans, we embrace diversity. And for those people who don't like diversity, they're not going to vote for you. But you're giving an emotional answer, not a literal fact-checking answer. And again, I'm just spitballing. I think you got to do it with a focus group and see what really works. So whoever wrote that part of this report was very good. There are 2 good things in the report. I really being sincere. The rest was like a lot of history lessons. I liked it. A couple of things that stood out to me weren't unbelievable.
It's restless.
Oh, you want to hear more? You want to hear him tear apart the Democratic Party?
Ruben Gallego, who ran in Arizona for the Senate, and Jackie Rosen ran for re-election in Nevada, did far better with Latinos. And the reason was Gallego is from the community, so he connected with them. And Rosen, she's not Latina, but as a senator, she made reaching out to that community a big part of who she was, her time in office. So the people voted.
In 1,000 feet, in 0.2 miles South Avenue, use the right lane to turn right. Then use the right lane to turn right on Science Parkway.
It's kind of obvious, but I thought it was pretty good. They kind of broke that down in there, why this was happening, in their view.
Turn right on South Avenue. Then use the right lane to turn right on Science Parkway.
But to me, the future is the forward, looking forward, not looking backwards at this point. We're a year and a half from that.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Nap. Use the right lane to turn right on Science Parkway.
2025. We won huge in New Jersey, Virginia, mayor's races,
Drop you
other
off
places.
in the
We won special elections that we had no business winning. We lost special elections by much closer.
You've arrived at your destination.
We won those same districts by in 2024. So there was a silver lining to the report. But the point was, so much of this is a backlash to Trump. And the
Ready?
report was trying to make the case that as Democrats,
All right, we got to get
we
moving.
can't just wait for Republicans to be bad, and that's why we win. And I agree. And it means coming up with an affirmative message.
Get you in there.
All right.